So here, Cobre and I are working on our draw into the center of the round pen. So we are, working on that connection, that draw that she has to focus on me and to come into the center when I both step backwards, as well as later on I have started introducing her to a high-pitched whistle to teach her to mean come. So I use that here as well to teach her to mean come into the center. In addition to in her pasture and in the arena, we've used it several different times with several different scenarios to try and improve upon her, being responsive and coming to me. So ideally here, I'm not using any treats. Treats are fine. I think that they can be a really good positive reinforcement, especially if that horse is a little reluctant. But when we're doing things like liberty, relying on our connection with the horse and our communication with the horse versus a treat reward. So I have used that whistle sound in conjunction with treats in the past for her, just to really reinforce and teach her that that whistle means come. Also was working with that to help with catching her out in the pasture, and it has helped dramatically. So doing all of those things, working on our connection with each other and getting her to focus. Here she got her right front foot caught, the rope caught underneath, the lunge line caught underneath her right front foot, and so she's having a little bit of struggles trying to get it out, and I was trying to get it to where she could step off of it and step out, but I ended up walking over to her and pulling it out from under her foot. But as you can see, she just was kind of like, I can't go forward, and didn't really react very strongly at all to it either, which is good, but was still kind of like caught and was like, I can't go forward. Didn't quite know how to get herself out of that one. So then we went ahead and went back into the lunge. I don't actually use the whistle until later in this video. Start with just using the pull on the lunge line, and of course I also started lunging her to the left, which is the direction she can see a little bit better with. Out of her left eye she can see better. So lunging her around to the left. First few times, like I said, I'm mainly just using my cues with the lunge rope and my cues with taking steps backwards. Took a little bit of convincing the first couple times. Certainly was not automatic. Certainly was took a little more effort on my part to get her to step in towards me. And there she did a beautiful turn to go the other direction. That was pretty nice. But you can see, she just took a little bit of, just some light pressure, but certainly was not in the habit of coming into the center when I asked her to. And so kind of just let her stood there with me for a bit, patted on her, let her rest, after going around several times. Here I'm rubbing her with the stick. Just want to, make sure that she's, a little bit more desensitized to it, not reactive to it. Making sure that she can feel it on both of her sides touching her. Especially with her eyesight not being the best and, potential problems with that in the future. Just want to make sure that she's not reactive touching her anywhere. do apologize for the sounds that you're going to hear in the next few minutes. It seems like our neighbor was maybe doing some target practice, so there are some gunfire sounds that are going on. But so, apologize about that. But that high-pitched sound you're hearing is me whistling as my cue to get her to come into the center. I introduced the whistle. There's one particular note that I can whistle that is a very higher pitch note that she responds to pretty well, and we've worked in the little arena and out in her pasture on teaching that to her to mean come. And so I'm using that here as well for the cue to come into the center. Especially since her eyesight in her right eye is not as good. It is pretty much non-existent. She can't really see out of her right eye. That way, she can, have a little more feedback, a little more of a cue that she can, regardless of which direction she's traveling, she can hear and can know that that means to come into the center. And so here we end this last time with me just walking backwards. I'm not really putting any feel on that lead rope. I am just walking backwards and whistling, and she comes into the center. And I was pretty happy with the changes from the first few times when I was having to use that lead rope to encourage her to come into the center compared to this last time. So that's where we ended.